going to be doing this book review on this book called Save Me a Seat. It's by Sarah Weeks and Gita Varadarajan, and here's a book title. Or like this. I don't know which way to show you the king. Do I flip it over? Oh, whatever. It's about an Indian kid that came from India with his mom and dad and his grandpa and his grandma from Indians, and a kid called Joe who's from America, and they both live in New York. So Ravi moved to New York, and Joe lives in New York. They go to a school it's called Albert Einstein School. Well, and there's this bully called Dylan, and Dylan's a klepto, I think it's pronounced. So that he just takes things even though he doesn't really need them because his parents are rich and he's famous in the school. Basically Dylan basically just takes most of Joe's stuff, and then Dylan tries to be friends with Ravi, so that he can take Ravi's mechanical pencils and all of his possessions. So basically in the start, well, Ravi introduced himself to the class because he's new to the school, and everybody starts laughing at him because his last name is so long. It's about almost 5 times as long as his name, more 3 or 4 times as long as his first name. So everybody starts laughing at him because his last name is so long. And then he starts eating lunch with Dylan because he thinks Dylan's is cool, and Dylan keeps on winking at Ravi. So Ravi thinks that that's a sign that he wants to be friends with Dylan. So Dylan just becomes sort of half friends with Dylan because he only eats lunch with him and he's not really exactly friends. Well, then basically there's a lot of other stuff in between, but I'm not gonna spoil that for you. You have to read the book to figure it out, although I'm just spoiling this book for you. But in the end, they pull a really impressive prank on Dylan because Dylan just wants to keep everybody's possessions, so he basically steals them. The class did a project on something that describes yourself, and Ravi brings a jar of leeches that describes himself because it describes himself and his family. And then so Dylan wants to keep the leeches, which is a really bad idea to me, but he wants it. And Joe knew that Dylan wanted it because there's a Dylan smile on his face or something that meant he wanted to keep Ravi's leeches. And then so Ravi starts telling a story about why he brought leeches, and then somebody throws up, and then he had to leave the classroom to go to the library because he have reading time or something. And then Dylan makes the excuse that he forgot his book and goes back into the classroom to grab the leeches. But before that, Joe gives Ravi a note that tells Ravi to loosen the lid so that when Dylan tries to steal it, it will spill all over his pants. And then when Dylan did steal it, it did spill all over his pants and he had to go home. And then after that, Dylan and Joe become really good friends and stuff, and they start eating lunch with each other instead of with that Dr. B. Dylan. That's basically like the beginning and the end of the story. So you have to read the middle to figure out what's inside the book. I'm not going to spoil anything out for you. Well, bye.